What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 1 of the Chicken Pod Podcast. My name is Michael Smith.
And it's your boy Taylor. Yeah, let's do it. Let's get it. Yeah.
Alright, and today we are on the first episode of the Chicken Pod Podcast, and apparently Tavon's getting evicted soon for yelling. But anyway, basically just this podcast, and the reason why I even made this to begin with is basically I came up with this idea only because I thought it would be fun, where I would have 5, and someone else is calling right now, and decline, okay, and just ignore that. All right. So basically, the gist of it is I have 5 anime, and Tavon also has 5 anime, and basically I just thought it'd be fun if we just took 5 different anime from this year, and we just watch the first episode, and we just talk about it. And we want to do something
Shippuden,
yeah, exactly. So that's basically the gist of it. And basically, like, I also wanted to do it like, I didn't want it to be like 5, like, I didn't want it to be like 5 anime from random, though. I wanted it to be like a little bit different, where like, basically how we did it when we first started off, where I told you, remember I told you, Tavon, where I said like, all right, you get 5 anime, you get 1 that looks interesting to you, 1 that doesn't look interesting to you, and 3 from a category of the other person's choosing. So if you remember that, did you because like the last time we like even talked about this, that's why I brought up. But did you even like do it that way, or did you like just like, I'm just gonna pick 5 anime from random and that's how we're gonna do it? So is that like the
no, I did the.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. No, I started out with the 3 first, and then I did my the one I found interesting, and then the one I thought about interesting. I put those last.
Okay. And did you? I mean, last time I saw it, it was like that dog anime that you showed me. Was it that one? That was the one? You still picked that one?
Oh yeah, I remember that. I still went with
it. Okay, you still went with that. Okay, so you did find one that like did interest you from like how it looked and whatnot.
Oh yeah, definitely. That one's. Oh yeah, I got a good story about that one.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I guess since I already like brought up like what basically just this podcast is about, like the 5 anime, and basically we're going to this is going to lead off into the next podcast, since we're going to be talking about like these like next anime for like basically the ones. Basically, it's going to be somewhat like a tournament, where basically like we have these 5 anime, and then by the end of this podcast we have to drop one of them. So basically that's the gist of it. And basically the next episode we're gonna do a recap and whatnot, and like just like see like who's left on the island and whatnot, and that's basically going to be a gist of it. So I guess I'll start off first, and I just start off like with my first anime, the first one I saw, and this was legit like basically the order that I have each anime is just from not from the best to the worst. It's basically just from which one I chose to see first. And basically, yeah, I think that's for the best. And I actually feel like, yeah, I'm glad I did do it this way. So like, you know, like you don't know which one is my favorite and which one is my worst. So we'll just start
what
off.
What if it's the same anime 5 times?
Yeah, I have like let's see, Boku no Pico like 5 times on here. So yeah, we're gonna be So basically, I'll start off, and I'll just start off with the first anime I saw. Keep your hands off Eizouken. I'm probably pronounced that terribly, but basically, Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken was the first anime that I watched, and it was also the anime that I was not the most interested in watching, just from the picture alone. Like, you saw the picture that I sent you, Tape. And that was the one where I was just like, and the moment I saw that picture, I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna get this one out of the way first. So that's the reason why I made that one the first anime I watched. Just like, okay, just get this one out of the way, just to see what the hell I'm even getting myself into. I'm just gonna get this one done first. And surprisingly, I actually didn't hate it. It actually, like, it caught me off guard just for like how like just from like the side, like the animation and whatnot, and it actually ended up being like pretty good. I wouldn't say it was like, man, it was like the best anime I ever seen. I mean, I only saw the first episode anyway, but and also funny enough is for every anime I have like a little small summary in the beginning. So I guess I'll say the summary first, and now like talk about like my first impression of the first episode. So the summary I gave for this anime is: girl falls in love with drawing after one anime she watched. So basically, she falls in love. Basically, the gist of it is, from what I saw, is that this girl, who for the longest time I had no idea if she was a boy or a girl, because like, you know, like those like characters where like you like seen that like you just look at and you're just like, is that a boy or a girl? Like you just don't know because like they're like exactly. Like you just like see them like because like they're not like they don't have like a bra because like they're like a little kid, and you just like see them wearing a t-shirt, and they like have like short hair, and you're just like, is that a boy or a girl? Like I was so confused for the longest time watching. So, and the funny thing enough is like with this character, like she basically, and the only reason why I found out it was a she was because like one of like her sister said like, oh yeah, she's a little shy. I'm like, okay, let me write that down in my notes. Just to make
sure this time.
I have to make sure. So basically when I first watched it, I didn't know what to expect from it. Just the only thing I had to like go off of it was the image. I was just like, oh no, I'm not ready for this. And it actually ended up being, I don't know why they gave the poster this image, but from the actual anime itself, the anime itself looks good. It's like actually one of the best looking animations I've seen like in a minute. Like the animation, like the quality and atmosphere looks really good. And it like caught me off guard. I'm just like, is this the same anime? I legit thought I was watching a completely different anime after seeing like the actual like anime itself. Cause it like caught me off guard. So like the world itself is like, the world in this anime is like separated and broken down in like these like abandoned, like broken down houses. And it almost reminds me somewhat of like, almost like Fully Cooley in a way, where it has like that like somewhat vibe. But it's like almost a mixture of like Fully Cooley and like a Studio Ghibli film, like Spirited Away or something like that. And it just like it caught me off guard for how like actual like simplistic and beautiful it actually ended up being. Where like I was like, huh, this ain't the anime I like. It like that already caught me off guard. So when like I got to the beginning of it, I was already intrigued, and then we get to like the actual like main character where like you see her like just sitting down in her bed like watching this like one anime, and she just like automatically just from this one anime apparently she just like gets inspired, and she is like, I want to draw anime, and like, oh, okay. Like just for that one like just for like this one anime, like she's like basically it's so weird because obviously it's an anime about this girl who falls in love with anime. So that's basically like the gist of it, and she ends up becoming like an anime artist. She basically becomes like an artist for like for anime and whatnot. And also, oh yeah, I'm so glad I put this in my notes. Also, from the moment I heard her voice, I knew like, is that the Japanese voice actor for Luffy? And legit, it's the Japanese voice actor for like apparently, because like usually I don't know like the Japanese. Usually when it comes to English dubs, I usually can spot out the English dub voices for each character. But for usually for the Japanese voices, it like takes me a minute. But like the moment I heard that voice, I was like, that's the Japanese voice actor for Luffy from One Piece. I'm just like,
oh shoot, okay.
Like, and that caught me off guard because like just from like I don't know how I knew, but I just like heard it. And I just like, that's the what? It actually worked for the character. It actually sounded like it didn't sound like, even though I knew it was Luffy's voice, it didn't sound like I was like listening to Luffy. I'm like, man, get off the screen, Luffy. Talking about you like anime and stuff like that. It didn't feel like that. It actually sounded like this female character who like wanted to become like an anime artist and whatnot. And afterwards, because of that, she actually ends up becoming like it. She actually joins an anime club. And she actually like joins this like little anime club where like there's a bunch of like other like anime artists and whatnot. And you don't really get to see like any of the other characters at first. You just see like all you get in the first episode is just the orientation. We're like, oh yeah, welcome to anime club, and welcome to like the world of animation and whatnot. And basically you just see like the main character as being like mesmerized, and like she also has this big sister who is also like, she just doesn't really care. She's just kind of like, oh, okay, like as long as she likes it, all right. Like she's not really like into it. She's just kind of like, oh yeah, as long as she likes, like she's a good sister, but she's just like, I'm not into it, but I mean, all right, as long as you like it. That's basically the gist of her. And then we get the third main character of the show, who shows up out of nowhere, and she's just like running from like these like security guards. She's just like, oh my god, I love this. Like, she's like, it's like this character who's like mesmerized watching this watching the because it's like this TV screen where it's showing a bunch of different animations to like introduce everyone into the anime club and whatnot. And she's like looking, she's like, wow, and she's like, come back here, son. What? No, you'll never take me. It's like, what? And then like security guards just like chase after her, and then like the main character's big sister just like, let's go after her. Like I don't know why. She's like, what? Like let's go after her. Come on, let's save her. And they're like, oh, okay. And then like they like run after her, and then they basically like save her from this security guard. And basically you find out that this third character, this character that was getting chased by the security guard, is like this rich model who comes from like this really big organization and whatnot. And she wasn't supposed to be like at that club. Like, she wants to basically you learn later on that she wants to be an animator, but her father forbids her. Like, basically she's forbidden to even like she's forbidden to even be in like, cause the main characters live in like the suburbs, and she's like forbidden to even be around the suburbs. She's forbidden to even be around that environment, but she like loves that environment. She goes around that environment because it inspires her to like come up with like more like ideas of animation and like more ideas of like drawings and whatnot. And that's when you see like the chemistry between like her and the main character. And also on top of that third like main character, like the model character, I don't know what it was about that character that just came off as just like, cause like she wasn't like the hottest anime girl I've ever seen before, but she just came off as just from like her like bubbly personality and just like the way she like talked and looked. Like, you just had that with like, well, like what I'm about to say is like, she just came off as like so attractive to me. I'm just like, man, this girl is just so great. Yeah, she's just like, yeah, you become an animator. Yeah. I'm just smiling the entire time. Like, she just came off like, just like real, like, if anything, if I do watch the next episode, it's mostly just for her, just because like I just want to see more of her. She's just like mesmerized on the screen watching her, just because I'm just like so fascinated and attracted by this character. Like, she's not she's not the most attractive. Like I said, she's not the most attractive person I've seen in an anime, but she just has like, just from like her like distinct looks, because she does have like a unique look. She has like this like reddish orangey like type hair, like long, like it's some like medium type hair. It's not really like short or long. It's like kind of like medium, and she like kind of has like this like, I don't know, it's just something about her like weird personality, but like she's like so energetic and so like inspired, just like kind of like got to me. I'm just like, yeah, she's great, and I'm just like, wait, what am I doing? Like, what? I'm just like, I have no, it's one of the things that like, after watching it, I still don't know why I was so like attracted to this character, but she was just like great. And probably the main thing like out of like the entire anime, like really like kind of like the kind of like made me like intrigued by it. Well, at first was like obviously like the animation, just because it was good, but there were parts of it that just came off as like, I wouldn't say boring, but just kind of came off as just slow, just kind of slow at times. Like, the pacing of it was like kind of slow, where you just like see like you see her like get into anime, you see her like walk to the club. Like, you know how like in like certain like shows you like see like, I want to be an animator, and then like it like there's like a cut or like a skip to like that person like joining an anime club or whatnot, and like maybe like another cut to like a time skip or something like that. Or you just see like cuts. You see like cuts. Like, you don't see like what I mean by that is you don't see like that person waking up, going into the room, brushing their teeth in the bathroom,
that kind of
walking
thing.
out there, eating breakfast, walking outside. Like, that's basically what you get in this anime. And it isn't bad. It's just slow. It's just like, you just see like, it's just a really slow progression you like really see in this anime. But it still works. It's still like, it wasn't bad when I like saw it and whatnot. So it wasn't bad. It just came off as somewhat slow, which kind of like just like took points off somewhat for the episode, because it just felt like the pacing was like somewhat slow at least. So like, that's just,
So would you say it was it's something that you'd recommend to somebody, if you want to recommend it to somebody, or is it like slow pace to where like after half the episode they'd have dropped it
I'd
right then
say,
and there?
I'd say, if you like watch it from the first, I wouldn't say if you watch it from the first episode, by halfway through you got, nah, this ain't for me. Like, I'd say like, if you do make it to like I'd say it's a really good, I'd say it's a really good start. It's a really good start to something that eventually, I feel like like what I saw from this anime is potential. I feel like this anime could eventually end up being a really good anime. Almost like that one anime you recommended, Through God's No Lion. Like when you showed me that, I saw the potential there, and then eventually it got even better as as it went on. But I will say the first episode of Through God's No Lion was better, just because I did like the tone of that and the atmosphere of that. But I will say it's still this show. Let me make sure. Oh, keep your hands off Eizouken. It still was like a really good. It's like the start of something that could eventually be like really, really good. And also on top of that, the one thing that I love the most probably out of all, and this is like the last thing that I'm like want to bring up before I talk about the last thing. But what I really loved about it, and what actually like brought me into it, and what really like kind of like got me hooked and like intrigued about it, was the animation. And what I mean by that is not like the animation I was talking about from the beginning. So there's this last scene in like in the episode that I feel like if you get to this scene at the last part of the episode, it will get you hooked. It will make you watch the next episode, because this is last scene where you have like the main character, her big sister, and the rich girl, the model girl. She's like, they're like all like talking about like ideas for like different like animation and different like drawings and different like ideas for an anime and whatnot. And while they're thinking up ideas, you don't just like get them talking about the ideas. You actually start to see like the animation of their ideas show up. It's almost like they get like transported into a fictional world where like they're like, what if we go on this island? And then like you see them on an island talking, like you see them on an island, and they're like, and we fight like dinosaurs with like burning flaming heads. This isn't what happened. I'm just saying like, I'm not saying like what I'm saying like the burning dinosaurs like that wasn't happening. I'm just saying like, I'm just giving an example of like what like when they like talk about something, it actually like shows up in the animation. We're like, what if we're on an island and next thing you know, there's like walking skeletons that are trying to kill us, and then we like kill the walking skeletons with this ancient sword, and then they whips out a sword, and then like you see them with each idea they talk about get transported in this like beautiful animated world where like you see them in that environment that they're talking about. And after seeing that, it like really like stuck with me. I was like, oh snap, this like, because it's something I haven't really seen in like an anime, which is like the one thing that I probably got the most out of like that anime compared to like anything. Like basically the main thing I wanted to get out of any of the animes I've seen is just what makes it different from any other anime I've seen. And this was it for this anime. When I saw it, I was just like, oh snap, I've never seen this before. This is like really intriguing. So after seeing that, it actually really got me like, it took the slow pacing that I saw at first, and it like got me. It hooked me at that point. So all in all, I'd probably say that anime was way better than I expected, and it actually ended up being like, the overall rating I gave for it, because I did give like an episode rating. Obviously, this isn't a full on show rating since I only saw the first episode, but overall, I'd probably give that episode currently a 6 out of 10. I'd probably give it a good old 6 out of 10.
Negative 6?
No, not negative. Negative. Yeah, I gave us a -4, man. There wasn't enough cleavage, man. All those girls were clothed, man. No, even though they were clothed. But like, that's the reason. That's the funny thing about like that model girl I talked about. Because like, she was fully clothed and everything, but I was like really attracted to her. I'm just like, huh. And like, but like overall, I'd probably say like, I get a good old 6 out of 10 would be good enough for it. I say because a 6 out of 10 isn't a bad rating, because like I say it's above average, and like considering all the other anime I watch as well, on top of the next ones I see, I actually do feel like for a first episode, it's a good start to something that could eventually be like a 7 or an 8 or a 9 or maybe even a 10, depending on how depending on how immersive the anime ends up being. But for a first episode, I say it's a good start. So that's basically basically my synopsis and like my first impressions overall, basically. So, do you have any more questions before you get to your anime?
Not so far. No, I feel like I'm asking you most of the questions I've had.
Oh, okay. All right. But yeah, that's basically the overall thing. So yeah, probably overall, I would say it's I would say I recommend it just so you can go all the way to the end and just watch it all the way to the end. Just see if you like it or not. That's basically what I'd say. Like, if you get to the end and like you're still not feeling it, then maybe it's not for you. But if you can get to that last part and you see that animation, then maybe that can hook you and maybe that will make you keep watching. So that's basically the last thing I gotta say about it.
Okay, so my anime that I had found, it was an anime that went by the name called Dorohedoro.
Dorohedoro.
Yeah, Dorohedoro. You can already guess that it's about a head. Yeah. No. Pretty much, the best way to sum up what the main character looked like, just picture like a dinosaur like Barney in a costume. That's pretty much what he looked like. That's pretty much what the main character was. And apparently inside, imagine, this is the best description I can give you, but imagine Barney, right? Mm-hmm. But when he opens his mouth, there's someone inside his mouth.
See,
if that makes sense. So,
see, I would cut you off, but see, the thing is, like I said, like also for like the people watching, all four of you, we didn't know what anime we were going to pick overall, and I will say, I did see that anime as well. That's on my list. that wasn't. It wasn't part of the play. Like I said, we didn't know. Nobody was all part of the play. We knew, but I still like the way you're describing it because, like, I already know, like, the way we're describing it is going to be completely different to the way I'm describing it. Because, like, Barney was not at all what I was thinking about. But I do like the fact that you described it like that. But I still want to hear the like description. Even though I've seen it, I still want to hear the description or like the anime and whatnot. I still ask you questions about, like, matter of fact, since we've seen that might be like the next one. That will be perfect. I'll probably discuss it as well after you like give up your like synopsis. That's what we'll do. You'll talk about your you'll talk about the anime, and then I'll talk about it, and then we'll just ask questions to each other. Then we'll do it like that. Basically, like, what did you think about this? What did you think about that? That's how we'll do it this time, since we both seen it. So we'll just do it like that. Okay.
So pretty much the guy's name was well, actually I didn't even get his name. The anime was so disappointing in me. I didn't even get his name. All I got was the scenery. But anyway, it was about this guy. Imagine Barney himself, right? But inside his mouth is another guy inside. So to the character himself, he doesn't know if the guy inside him is him.
Yeah.
Or is the guy on the outside him himself. Now, to start off with episode 1, he was chomping. Keep this in mind. This is supposed to be a horror anime.
Yeah.
But he was chomping this guy's head, and the guy inside his mouth was trying to see, was that the guy who cast a spell on him to make him turn him into that monster? And the problem I have with this anime is that I feel like the build-up here is very weak. I mean, his partner is supposedly a female, but she just looks, her facial features, she just looks more like a guy to me. The antagonist, he just didn't have that mystery. He just felt more like a plot device. That's what it felt like. There was just no build up, no nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, I kept watching it all the way to the end to see if I'd like it, but it just didn't live up to expectations, just like I thought it would.
He just wasn't feeling it.
And I'd probably give it a 2.
A
2 at the most.
Ooh.
Maybe a 3.
I guess I'm being generous. Jesus Christ.
I feel like in general, when you're writing an anime, you gotta have that mystique to it. Keep everybody guessing. Okay, who did this? Who did that? But with that anime, it was just bland.
It was just bland. Okay. Yeah.
But what about you?
See, See, the thing about like that anime and whatnot, see, to be fair, like there are parts of it that I definitely do agree with you on, but I will say the one thing I will give that, like I said, I have definitely some flaws over this anime, but the one thing I will give is the animation was really good in that anime. I will say like that was probably the best thing about the animation, though at the same time, the problem I have with that animation is the 3D, like, because there were some parts where I was just like, okay, it doesn't bother me. Now I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what the hell? What is this animation? Like, what is going on? Like, it was just like, it was almost like a weird video game. Like, I'm just like, what? Is this the PlayStation 1? Like, what is going on? And it was just like the animation just got weird sometimes with the 3D and whatnot. But I will say, I didn't mind the main character as much as like the way you said he was like Barney. I didn't mind it to an extent. The main thing that I probably had really kind of irritated me the most about this anime is probably the fact that the genre was horror and I did not see any horror whatsoever. Like the thing is like I saw like I could see it like it was somewhat graphic. Like the only part that kind of had me like was like when that one girl with that skeleton head and then like the croc guy like bite him, like he bit her head, and then the other dude comes in, he like pulls her like, no, I got you, and I was like, oh no, and then like her face gets ripped off. I'm like, oh, like that's the only thing that kind of like somewhat got me, but everything else on top of that, I wouldn't even consider any of this horror. Like I've seen way more like graphic and like gratuitous stuff that I would consider horror compared to this. Like especially after I just read the manga Uzumaki. Like I know I've seen some horror. This ain't no horror. Like horror is supposed to like freak you out and like terrify you. Like really like you should be like going to sleep and like thinking about the shit. Like nah, get away. Like you should be like thinking about this for a while. But like this, I'm probably not gonna remember it for that much. But all in all, I wouldn't say I completely hated it though. I would say like there were parts of it from the animation. I would at least say that the antagonist had a unique character design. What I say, and I feel like depending on how he goes in the next episode, I could end up liking him, or he could just end up being like just a bland antagonist, kind of like that one anime I told you about, which I still can't find the name of, where that dude with that intimidating look came in and he says, "It seems they have underestimated." I was like, "What is that?" And that just caught me off guard. So I feel like depending on how this show goes, I'm curious, but I wouldn't say I recommend it. I'd probably say I'm just curious myself just to see where the hell they go with this. So all in all, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10. I at least say it was average. I wouldn't say it was below. I'd say it was average because it didn't irritate me or anything like that. I was more just like, this isn't really like.
Was it because of the girl? Did she attract you?
Nah. See the thing about the girl is like I didn't see her as a guy like you saw in like your head, but I do feel like it was because of the 3D animation. It kind of made her look more, maybe not as feminine. I guess.
See, the best thing I can tell you is just imagine Caillou, give him a wig, and that's pretty much the girl right there. That's pretty much what I felt like they did.
I wasn't thinking about that. Like, I got that image in my head. Oh, no. Okay, see, we think of it like that.
Give it a 5 out of 10.
Now I'm really thinking of it like that. Oh yeah, what was that in your anime list? Was that a show that interests you, or was that like in like a category? Like what was that for? What was that a part of for the anime you watched?
Oh, that was part of the horror anime you recommended me. That was just part of the 3. Okay. Yeah, that's all about.
Okay. I was making sure. Okay. Well, I guess.
But there's no surprise that we did end up seeing it at the same time. Yeah, there weren't really that many 2020 anime. Maybe like 10 at the most.
Like, funny thing is, I categorized it to horror, and like only like I believe like only 3 or 4 things popped up for like horror anime. And I'm just like, why did this even pop up? This ain't even horror. After watching it, this shouldn't even be in the category. But yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. So I guess I mean, funny enough is you just said your first one. I guess I said 2 at this point. So I guess you can go with your second anime since I guess like I already talked about Doru and that other anime. So I guess like you can like bring up your next. So I guess you can bring up your next anime now since like so we can be like 2 for 2. I guess.
So the second anime was called Sorcerous, they were Orphen.
Sorcerer, they were Orphen. Oh, good.
Yeah, Sorcerous, they were Orphen.
Oh, thank God. Okay. I'm intrigued now. All right.
So apparently, this anime was about a sorcerer who supposedly had dropped out of school. So he's pretty much, I don't want to say he's a lone wolf, but he's pretty much doing things sort of on his own for right now.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, he's pretty much trying to get back his money from these 2 kids who like stole his money, like I guess apparently paid like the rent or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then so he chases after the kids. He casts a spell to try to catch them. They get away. He runs into this police officer girl who had them on a wanted poster. And then supposedly they still got away. So anyway, the main character, he meets up with the 2 kids again, and they put on this suit. So, well, pretty much like a business suit, pretty much. Because it's supposed to be, I guess supposedly it's supposed to be comical as well.
Okay.
So apparently he put on the suit, and they go into like a business, just them 3, and they meet. Because it pretty much takes place in like, the scenery is more of a, I don't want to say like fairy tale-ish vibe, but it somewhat similar like that, or some. Okay, I got a better one. ReZero.
Okay.
And that kind of scenery. That's what it looks like.
All right.
So him and the 2 kids, they went inside the house with this girl who's pretty much like you know how the person with the rich family, how they do with that, like the girl with the rich family, you get married into like
oh yeah,
that kind of thing. So the plan was pretty much just to trick her by making up a lie, saying that he's like this businessman who made like sleeping pills and whatnot.
Oh.
So pretty much the girl they were trying to trick, she leaves the door and her sister peeks in and hear the conversation. As it turns out, she knows that they're lying. And then out of nowhere, that's when they get attacked by this dragon, supposedly a dragon out of the blue.
Huh.
So he took off his suit and he chased after the dragon. And then he discovers that the dragon was one of his friends who got turned into a dragon, pretty much.
Huh. This is a lot.
And he was chasing after a sword. Yeah, I know. Sounds pretty lame. It is lame, but. And then pretty much at the end, he just does some hand-to-hand combat skills to kind of like stop them from trying to kill the dragon. He's like, no, stop. And then that's pretty much the end of the anime. So I'm just like, it was kind of meh to me. It was kind of all over the place, but it was meh.
That's what I'm saying. Like the way you described it, the way you like said like all that stuff like a dragon cave, and then this thing, and then blackmail. Like what? What's like? It took me a minute to like keep up for a good second. I was just like, okay, wait, then this and this. Like what? It was like it was like people like hand to hand combat. Like was what? So would you say like at least like was like any like good action scenes? Was there like any like fights that like actually like were good or anything like that?
The only good fight scene was at the end when he did the whole hand-to-hand combat. Because before it was like just your basic bland sorcery, like most anime are, where they do sorcery with their hands. It felt kind of bland like that. So that was the only thing that caught me off guard. Like, what? There's actually fighting in this?
Okay.
He started doing like some cowboy bebop moves, or like drop kicks and flips and whatnot. I was like, oh, okay. But overall, I say the story was kind of weak.
Okay.
I don't think I'd probably do is watch episode 2 just to see, because the only thing I like about it is that they kept the character with the mystique, the main character with the mystique.
Okay.
So you're wondering like, why did he drop out of school? Why is he a loner right now? That's about it. But overall, would I recommend the anime to anybody? Nah, I don't think I would. Okay. Not just yet, anyway.
Oh, no, I just want to finish. What would you probably say overall about like the animation, like how that like come out? I know you said like it was like ReZero, but I'm saying like what would you like personally like, feel about the design? Did you like it? Did you like look good, or is it like average? Like how was it to you?
It looks decent. I just say that it looks good.
Okay, okay.
But I just take a few points off because I feel like the concept of the sorcery and dragons, it just felt like it's been done before.
Yeah.
Like I said, Fairy Tale had dragons, Fairy Tale had sorcery, so you kind of feel the resemblance there. So it was
Okay.
meh.
All right. So you said, wait, what was your overall rating?
I give it a 5.
A 5 average?
Give it
Okay.
a 5 out of 10.
All right. All right, a 5 out of 10. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So I guess we'll Okay. Yeah. Because like the list down, like, cause like Dorohedoro was actually my was actually the 4th show I watched, but since I already talked about that, I'm like, all right, let me move this up. All right. So now we're on there. I guess we'll get to probably the most intriguing out of the 5 anime I saw. Now, I'm not saying it's my favorite, but I'm saying it's probably the most intriguing, and probably, I'll save it. Basically, it's called. I really hope you didn't watch this anime. It's called ID Invaded.
Oh, no,
you did! Dang it! Come on! I was hoping we did it.
That was going to be my most intriguing one.
That's what. That was mine.
I was about to say that one for last too. I was about to say, man, this anime was good.
All right. Well, I guess we'll do the same thing we did with Dorohedoro. I'll talk about my opinion first, and then you'll talk about your opinion, and then I guess we'll like go back and forth with question. We watched every anime together. It's fine. I like this. It's a funny surprise though when we find out about this stuff. All right. Okay, so basically, I'd probably say because I had a summary for that one as well. And basically, the way I saw it, I'd probably give it from the summary I gave it is Psycho-Pass meets Persona meets Inception. That's like the best way I could like describe this like anime, because it definitely from the beginning of the show it had like I already had that somewhat Psycho-Pass vibe to it, just from like the atmosphere alone, and just from that. Just from seeing I love when the main character first wakes up and he goes like, he just sees his like entire body separate. He's like, oh! He starts screaming. That caught me off guard. Oh, that was so good. But I say like, what I probably liked about that anime the most is just from like, it's probably the mystique and atmosphere of that anime. I really like the mystery of it. Where like, you knew just as much as the main character, because he didn't know at all where he was at. He didn't know like what was going on, and he was just like had to like put the pieces together, wondering where the hell he was at. He was just in like this like weird ass like limbo. Like he just didn't know like what was going on, and basically he just had to like he just had to find out like what was going on. And I also like the fact like even though he like put his body together, that like he had like that like arm thing where like he was like able to like move his arms in like different places, where he was like able to connect buildings together and whatnot. And it really gave me like an Inception vibe, because like I know you didn't see Inception, but like Inception really had like this like trippy like world where like you get transported in like a dream, and like it was like it's really hard to like describe like Inception, but it's just like you're like in a dream inside of another dream inside of another dream, and then like all this weird stuff starts happening. Then you get like a world somewhat similar to like this world, and basically he finds out from this one girl he sees like dead in like this one room, that he finds out that he's actually a detective, and he has to like find out the mystery of this girl's death and whatnot. So basically during that time he like finds out and during that time he sees like a pan out, like you see like a pan out from like that world that he's in, and you now see like these detectives and all of these like people like watching him, and this like really intrigued me as well, because then I was just like, oh, okay, so that's what they're doing right now. And apparently that place is called the Idwell, and basically the Idwell is the manifestation of a murderer's drive to kill. And I was like, this is already like, because considering like the last 2 anime I saw, I was just like, man, this is like a way big step because like I was so like already hooked and intrigued in the anime just from the moment I already like saw it, and I was already like just like intrigued just seeing like from the concept alone, just from the concept alone of the Idwell, and just like hearing the fact that like it's like the manifestation of like a murderous subconscious and just like his like drive to kill him, like you can like create anything from it, from that murderous subconscious. It just like really intrigued me. And what intrigued me on top of that is the fact that one of the detectives, like one of the newly like formed detectives, it was like the female up there, says like finds out that like you can only a detective can only transport inside of the Idwell unless they've killed someone. That's the only way they can be transported in an Idwell, unless they've killed someone. So that was like, from that premise and like just the fact that like you saw like Sakaido, yeah, that was the main character's name. So, like Sakaido's like you see him like coming up like solving the mystery like piece by piece, and you see him like go in these other worlds. He sees those other people who's like trapped in the Idwell as well. And what also intrigued me as well on top of that was the last part where you see that girl at the end of the episode. I hate the fact they ended on a cliffhanger, because probably out of all the other shows that I watch, this one probably had the one where I was just like, man, I want to see episode 2, man. But I like stopped myself from watching it. Basically, with that, the whole Idwell thing, what I liked about it was the last part where like you see like anything, basically whenever the murderer has a drive or like an urge to kill someone, they pop up in the Idwell. Either someone he's killed in the past or someone he wants to kill. And I love the fact that like once that murderer sees that female detective, she pops up in the Idwell and Sakaido noticed that, and he's like, who's this girl right here? And then like that's when you notice that like the murderer like now has like the drive to like kill that person. And like just from that concept alone, it already like surpassed like all like the other stuff that I like saw so far. No, I only saw like those like 2 so far, but like it already like intrigued me just from concept alone and the atmosphere of the world, and just from like the main character seems like really interesting, and just like considering the fact that like they said like you have to kill someone in order to drop inside of the Idwell, you already know that he already has like some damaged goods inside of him, so you know like. So like it intrigues you because like you don't know everything about the world. You don't know everything about the world. You don't know everything about the characters, and that's what I like about like the mystique of like the main character, because you don't know that much about him, but you do know that like if he's in the Idwell, he's killed someone before. So like there's a reason why he's trapped here, and you still don't know the reason of why he had that memory loss, or why he was like even like separated to begin with. Like was this like a consequence? Was this like for a reason? Did they brainwash him, or did they drain his memory? Like what did they do? Like it leaves you what I love about a show is a show that leaves me with questions instead of like me knowing everything about a show. And what it left me with so many questions, just wondering like, what's this about? Like, what? Who's this character? Like, what's going on? Like, what? This is like a world? Like, what? This is a big world? Like, what? There's a murderous like cognition? Like, what the hell's going on? Like, it just like intrigued me a lot, and it just like really like, it was a really good setup for a first episode that made me want to watch the next episode, especially when it left off with a cliffhanger where like you saw like the murderer was about to kill this girl, and we don't know like what happened at the end of that. So all in all, from the atmosphere, from the world and everything, and from the characters and the mystery of it all, I'd probably say all in all, I definitely recommend this anime. I'd definitely say it's a good intriguing start. But I'd probably say from the cliffhanger at the end, from the atmosphere and everything else they like showed from the world, and from the mystery of everything from the main character and the world, and the fact I don't know everything about what's going on, and it just leaves me with more questions than answered. Like altogether, I would probably give this just from first episode alone a 7 out of 10. I wouldn't give it a straight up 8 or 9. I feel like they can still have potential of doing more, but I probably overall give it a 7 out of 10. So yeah, that's basically like what I would give it. So since you saw the same anime, what is your take on it?
I'll give it. I still give it an 8.5 to a 9 right now. The only drawback I didn't like was I felt like the soundtracks didn't fit the setting. Well, I feel like when you have a good anime like this that leaves you with a bunch of mystery and has that mystique and eeriness, you gotta have like some ambient music or like some eerie music to set the tone, not like some action. Like when he was like, I like when he was trying to build the world together. I thought that was cool.
Oh yeah.
But then he started playing like some action music, like if you want to see some action.
Oh no!
Started playing it like that Bleach soundtrack. I was like, no, it doesn't.
I didn't see it. Like I actually like the music. I didn't sound okay. I'm like that's over. I did not get out. If you want to see some action, because I would have burst out laughing if it sounded like that. But I get what you're saying though. The soundtrack itself really was like probably the least memorable thing about the show. Yeah,
that's about it. Like it wasn't bad. I just felt like it didn't fit the scene. That was it.
Yeah.
But overall, I liked the whole mystique. I felt like it was new, something new.
Yeah.
Because out of all 5 of these anime I've seen, they didn't really get that good of a score. Because most of these, I feel like they've already been done before.
Okay.
Well, with this one, they added that twist to it with the whale and everything that happened, the mystique to the main character, like everything, it put it right where it needs to be. And even even before I even watch any anime, I normally look at what what's the word I'm looking for? Not the photo, but the
synopsis.
Yeah, the synopsis. I look at what kind of like when you buy a new video game, the first thing you look at is the cover. And I feel like the cover gave it the mystique it needed to be.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much why I give it such a high rating, considering everything about it was good.
I was hoping we'd pick a different anime that we were interested in. I was hoping you'd find something like, oh, this was an anime that interests you. I was like, oh, okay. It had to be the same damn anime. Oh, it's fine. Don't worry. We still got more. I'm hoping you. I know you didn't see one of these. I know you didn't see this one I'm going to talk about right now. Okay. Let me move this down. No, not Dorohedoro. No. Where is it? I know. Okay. So, matter of fact, I'm just gonna say it. Did you see? So this one's called Infinite Dendrogram.
Oh, nope.
Okay,
nothing like that.
One. Okay, well, you probably ain't after I talk about it anyway, because that is definitely like you talked about how you felt about Dorohedoro. This anime was so. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you the synopsis of it. Like always, I'm gonna give you the synopsis of this anime. The synopsis I gave for this anime is: man gets transported to video game world. Yeah. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah. ReZero, Sword Art Online.
This anime. Batum. Is it wrong to pick up girls in the dungeon? Oh my god. This was No Game No Life, though that did it way better. But basically, the show is about this dude, this like main character who's so damn bland, who gets transported into a video game world. And at first I'm thinking, okay, maybe when we see the world itself, it might look like somewhat different. It might look like, oh, it might be a new video game world. It might give you, because the reason I'll at least give credits like other video game like type of animes where they get trapped in like a video game or something like that, like Batum, ReZero, No Game No Life. At least you can't say that all those worlds are similar. Every single one of those type of worlds or the concept itself were different. Like, you can't say like, oh yeah, ReZero's world is definitely similar to like Sword Art Online's world, or like Batum's world is very similar to No Games No Life world. It's like, like at least they were different. This one, on the other hand, I'm just like, when the main character gets transported into the world, and funny thing is, I was actually a little bit hyped because they actually in the beginning, first he starts off in the tutorial world, and he has like this like cat, this like annoying like cat person, just like saying like, "Welcome to the world of," I forgot the name because I didn't care about. "Welcome to the world of Dysteria." I'm just gonna make up a name. "Welcome to the world of Dysteria. We have multiple worlds with multiple possibilities." And what I liked about it was the concept that this cat person in the tutorial brought up. He said, or she, I don't know. It sounded like a female voice now I'm thinking about it. But it might be, I have no idea what this thing was. It was a cat. Anyway, this cat person says like, in this world, you can choose what you want to be. You can choose whether to be a mage, sorcerer, warrior. You can even choose whether you want to be a hero or a villain. I'm like, oh snap. You can choose. I was hoping they would do something with that. We're like, oh, what if this dude choose to be a villain? And he's like, I'll choose to be a warrior, and I'll choose to be a hero, because heroes do the right thing. Like, what? No. They could have done the fight. I hate when I see something. What's worse than seeing a bad anime is when you see something with a good concept that has potential of like doing something different, and then they do
another Deku,
yeah. Like that's just like. It's just the most irritating thing possible, because like if he would have just like all he had to do was just say like, I want to be a villain, and they're like, that's all he had to do, just to make the entire concept completely different. Because literally I've never noticed it, but like every character and like all that would have been something different that no other video game anime would have done, because obviously all the main characters in those other animes like Batum, ReZero, or No Game No Life, or Sword Art Online, like every single one of them were heroes. So it would have been an interesting concept to see it from a villain's perspective. Oh wait, were you about to say something?
There was one anime where the guy did become a villain, but I'll recommend that later after the podcast.
Oh, okay, I got you. But I felt like that would have been an interesting concept. Even if it has done before, it would have been intriguing to see like a different perspective of it. But instead, nah, it was just basically him. He was just a hero, a warrior, and he wasn't even a strong warrior too. And he had like his brother. I'm like, oh, okay, and like basically when he gets transported into like the most generic, it was like, let's take the default fantasy world and let's just copy and paste. And that's basically the world of this anime, basically. And I was hoping, because he was looking for his brother in the fantasy world, I was hoping that the brother would at least be cool. And then like he meets up with the brother, and he's like this mascot in this bear costume, and he never takes it off. I'm like, huh? What is this anime? Oh no, this is just... I feel like it just got... It's one of those animes that got... You remember how I said with the first anime I brought up, what was it called? Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken. You remember I talked about how like it, like by the end of it, it got really good. For this one, it was the opposite. Yeah. By the end of it, it just slowly, with each scene, got worse and worse and worse. It was like everything that popped up in this anime just got worse. The only thing that was somewhat interesting, besides like the whole villain concept, was the fact that like NPCs kind of have like artificial intelligence, like the NPCs in like their virtual world, almost like someone like Detroit Becomes Human, where like it doesn't really matter. It like they like basically this virtual reality world is their world. They have like an actual like real life body. They have actually like talk like real people. They have like actual intelligence, and they actually like can speak for themselves. And the one thing I liked about that was the fact that like if the main character dies, like he'll just like basically what happens for like anyone who like gets transported in the virtual reality world, if they die in the world, they don't die in real life, but they get banned for 24 hours. So they can't play the game for 24 hours. But 24 hours in the real world, in the world that you're banned in, is 3 days in the virtual reality world. And what makes that bad, and what actually could make this interesting if they actually do end up doing this right, which I don't think. I have zero hopes for this. But what I like about that is the fact that like the NPCs, like he meets up with this female who's an NPC who has artificial intelligence. But what you realize that the NPCs, if they die in that world, they're just dead. They're gone. This is basically real life to them. They're dead. They're never coming back if they die in this world. They're dead in the video game world, and that's it. It's because that's their real life. So think of it this way. If you have a quest and you have to do it, like imagine if you get transported into a video game world and you're like, you have this side quest you have to do, and like it's like this like hot female like character or whatnot. She's like, I need you to help me with this huge level 30 golem or whatnot. And then you start the quest, and then like you end up getting killed in the middle of the quest, and then like you're banned for 24 hours. And like I said, 24 hours is 3 days in that world. And also, oh yeah, just to add more to intensify that, there's a timer for each quest. So if you don't do a certain quest in a specific time, then that's it. Then like you fail the quest, and then most likely those NPCs are dead. So basically, imagine if you like doing like side quests like some like hot girl or something like that, and you're like, don't worry, I'll protect you, don't worry, I'll save you, and then like you get killed, get banned for 24 hours, and you come back, and everyone you knew is slaughtered. All the NPCs, all the people that you met, all the people you like made relationships with, even though they're NPCs, have artificial intelligence. They were like basically like real human beings. They're all dead. So like that one day you were gone, everything changed. So like I felt like they could have done a really good concept with that, but instead we got like the brother like talked about this thing, and I was actually intrigued when he brought it up, but then like when we actually see it come to full play, it was like there was this little girl that needed rescuing, and then the main character was about to get killed, and then he was like, no, I'll do it, I have to protect my friend. No, we're not going here. We're not going here. And then he beats him with the power of friendship.
Fairy tale?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was how it ended with that. And all in all, that anime altogether, probably a 2. That would probably be like what I can. That was just, it was the most generic, most blandest. The animation, it was decent, but it like I've seen the animation before in many anime. I'd rather see an anime with really good story with like horrible animation than watch that again. It was just
Pain art?
It was like, yeah, exactly. That's a good example. But all in all, it's just like it was generic, bland, and I've seen this shit before, and it just like it was the most uninteresting, uninspired piece of trash I've ever seen before. But yeah, that was the worst one I've seen out of all of them. That was just So what was your anime now? Hopefully your experience wasn't as bad as that.
Well, the next anime was an ecchi anime.
Oh.
It was called Interspecies.
Oh no! Oh, I've heard of it, but I never seen it. Oh, boy,
it's an anime about these two guys that trying to sleep with any species, whether it be a mermaid girl, a monster girl, just anything like that, and they rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 on what they liked about them, and they go on a market board, which is pretty much what I mean by board is, you know that thing in Fairy Tale where they have like this board that everybody goes to quest. Yeah, it was like that. That's pretty much what it's about. And then they ran into this girl in the woods who was supposedly from heaven because she had wings. She was like some lolly. And then what caught me off guard was it was like, oh, she looks pretty nice. And then they were like, oh, so you're a boy, right? I was like, huh? She was like, yeah, I'm a boy. And then she pulled up her shirt, and you saw this bulge in between her legs. I was like, huh? That caught me off guard too. And then as the two guys were walking away, they were like, I didn't want to tell them, but I'm actually both a girl and a guy. I was like, huh?
What?
She's both? No. So basically, I'm guessing she's a Fuda. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, no.
So yeah, it's her and these two guys on a journey to, sleep with different girls and guys, rate them, and she can't go back to heaven right now because her halo needs to be repaired.
She's a main character.
So, I mean, she's part of the big 3, I'm guessing.
What?
Part of the 3.
I thought she was a one-off character. I thought she was one of the people that, like, the main characters, like, sleep with or something. I was just like, oh, you mean she's a main character? Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, so the bad thing is, I'd definitely be dropping this anime, that's for sure.
What are you talking about? Was the animation at least good? How was the sex scenes? What would you rate?
Oh, they cut that part out.
What?
They meet the girl and then they cut the scene out. And then the next scene is when they're walking out of the room. Like, yeah, that was great.
What?
That was great.
They didn't. They cut the best part. Oh, yeah, it's the worst anime of all time. I haven't even seen it, and that sounds horrible. They cut it? What? At that point, oh no, that sound because I was like, okay, at least I can get something out of this. But they don't even have that. No. That might be worse than
fan
my
service
anime.
is bad too. Because apparently the maids, well not the maids, but the mermaids and stuff like that, they're like their age is over 300, but they're young.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have a young face of a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
But that's the main character's interest. But his partner, on the other hand, he actually likes human girls, like, you know, real life humans who are like age 50.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's into.
Wait. I left it out. I was just like, yeah. And then I finally like processed what you just said. I was like, wait a minute, you say he in the milk? You mean 50? Huh?
Yeah. That's what he said.
I don't know why.
He's like, I don't like the girls with 300.
Yeah, so far it sounds great. So you recommend this anime? Yeah, I'll definitely watch it.
Oh no, definitely. And then the fan service, see, to an extent, you know, they show a few things here and there, but then when they show that Fuda, they give a view of her ass, and then you see that bulge. That's what I'm like. And quit.
What are you talking about? Your man's hungry. Oh no! All right, so overall, what would be your rating? 10 out of 10,
2?
man. 10 out of 10.
Oh, I'm alright. Huh? -6.
-6. All right, so 3. All right, 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely won't be going back to that.
That sounded great. All right. Let's see. Was that?
So I guess maybe you both have one anime left.
That's what I'm making sure. Yeah, I believe you have one. You have one left, right? I have 6 left. What?
Yep.
There's supposed to be one. Okay. I guess I want to say. Okay. I guess I'll say mine because at least we can. Cause I was thinking about like maybe I can say mine for last because we can end it on a high note. Because I will say this was definitely a really good anime. Where it sounds like the ones you watched were just like. Kill me. Except for invading. Wait. Let me say. I swear, I really hope this isn't the same anime. Because if it is, okay. Mine's called Somali and the Forest Spirit. Have you seen it?
That's what mine is. I'm playing.
Okay. Okay. Oh, thank God, it ain't the same anime. Okay. All together, all right. So it's Somali and the Forest Spirit, and all in all, I thought I didn't know what I was going to get because literally like I saw because you saw like literally in order I saw Infinite Dendrogram, you know that trash anime, and then I saw Dorohedoro. That was the one I saw after that terrible anime. I saw Dorohedoro afterwards, and I was like, oh, please give me something better than this. Please give me something, and then I know where. Because like in the genre, this is from my slice of life anime that I was going to see. Out of nowhere, I see like Solemn of the Forest. I'm like, okay, this looks intriguing. Okay, let's go to this one. And basically, the summary I had for this is Gollum finds this little girl, and they go on the journey on this fantasy. No, hold on. I know summary sounds weird, but like just hold on. Don't worry. I'll get to that. But it's basically Gollum finds a little girl, and they go on the journey in this fantasy land. That's basically the gist of it. But I know from the first synopsis you're probably like what little girl, like don't worry, she ain't a Fuda. No, I'm kidding. But basically what caught me off guard is just like the best way to describe this anime is beautiful. This anime is one of the best looking anime I've seen in a long time. Like, I can't even like think of like in an animation that's like had like this. I can think of some, but not like any anime recently that's had this good of an animation quality to it. Like the atmosphere from everything, it was 100%. It was the best looking show out of the 5 anime I've seen. And what I liked on top of this is in the beginning of the in the beginning of the anime, you see this golem, and at first I thought he was like a robot. Someone looks like a robot, but he's actually like a golem. And he talks about how he's like the protector of the forest. He like keeps balance of the natural order of like the forest and whatnot. And while he's talking about like while he's just walking around the forest one day, just doing his normal stuff, he usually just like travels around the forest. That's his usual day to day. Just keeps like natural order of like the forest and whatnot. Out of nowhere, he sees this like little like he sees this little girl, like this little like slave girl who looks like she's like who looks like somewhat injured, who looks like someone like beat up, and she like looks at him, and I know no, be fair, I somewhat laughed at it too when she said it, but she like looked up and she goes, "Daddy," and she just like looks, and she like looks up, she's like looks up to him and like says that, and like basically the entire like premise of the show from how it looks is that he's trying to take care of this little girl, and they're looking for humans. They're looking for humans because he's trying to take her back to her homeland, basically. Because at first, not the promised land, basically, but basically, and you find this out later on, because like even though this world is like pretty like beautiful, it does have like this like what I love about this as well. On top of it is that it's like a fantasy. It's like this actually gave me like really good inspiration for like the story that I talked about, like those outcasts, for like what a fantasy land should be, because it was complete. It was like it took like Infinite Dendrogram, like whatever that terrible video game anime's Fantasyland was, and like they say like no, this is how you do a Fantasyland, like that's how you do it and whatnot. So that's what I liked about it, because it was like a completely different Fantasyland than like anything I've seen in a while, where like there was like different species, different monsters, different breeds, different like types, like you didn't see one character in this show, whether it be like a background character or anyone, look the same. They all had different looks to them. And basically the gist of the story, like I said, is about this golem trying to take this little girl back to like the humans and whatnot. And at first you don't even realize that this girl is human. Like she kind of looks like a human, but later on, like the golem says, like she's a tribe. She's like I'm a tribe or something like that, which is like a type of like which is a type of like species in like their world. And she has like these like little horns, until you find out those horns are actually fake. And the reason why she's wearing those fake horns is because he finds out he already knows this, like the golem already knows this, but we find out as the audience in this diner that humans, because like, okay, basically let me tell you premise here. He goes in this diner and he says that they're looking for humans, and then like one of the people says like, "Oh no, I haven't seen any humans around here before." And then like one of them says like, "Oh yeah, I remember. I haven't seen humans in a minute as well. I remember back in the day. I saw a lot of humans back in the day, and man, they were so good. They were so delicious. I ate so many hold up. They ate basically." And this is where you get somewhat of a dark premise of the story, where like you didn't know about, because so far you've seen this like beautiful, peaceful fantasy land of all of these different little species and creatures, and then you find out that the humans and the monsters went to war, and basically most of the humans are extinct or enslaved, which is why now you realize why she's disguised as like this monster with these like horns and whatnot, and why when the golem saw her for the first time, she was like in chains, enslaved and whatnot. She was one of those humans that were enslaved. So basically our population, the human world population, is basically extinct, and there are very few humans left. And if they are around, they're either enslaved or they're somewhere else. Like we don't know the gist of it. Like we don't know that much about it. But basically, there's barely any humans left, and that's basically like the journey of the whole thing. And what caught me off guard as well is the fact that this little girl, like I thought she was going to end up being like, because like I've already told you how much I don't like kid characters. And she wasn't annoying. She wasn't annoying whatsoever. I was shocked that I wasn't annoyed by this little girl. I was just like, oh my god, oh no, it's like this little girl character. I'm just gonna be like, oh no, I'm not.
I think I'm in love.
It's like, nah, shut up. But nah. It was just like I was like really I was just shocked at the fact like I thought he was gonna be like a bratty girl. It's been like, all right, man, this guy needs to smack the shit out of his girl.
I'm gonna become Hokage. Yeah, I'm this Black Star. Yeah.
I'm the greatest hero, Black Star. Yeah. Nah. I didn't need that. But like, she was actually like she was actually I wouldn't say like she was like the best character, man. Like she was just like she was basically like just like a clean slate. Like she was basically like just like
Clementine?
a regular, yeah, someone like Clementine from like The Walking Dead, yeah, someone like that. And like she was just like a nice little girl who just like wanted to like live a good life. Like she was just basically like Clementine. She was just in like the worst situation of her life, where basically she's like in a world of monsters where she was enslaved for like a while, and she's basically like and she's basically now has like this golem like father, like we call him father because like she calls him father, and she basically has like father to protect him and whatnot. So, and probably the one thing that I love about this, and the one thing that like brought this entire show together, and what probably gave it the atmosphere that I was looking for, was the golem father. Because from the way he talks and the way he perceives himself and the way he like the way he talks and the way he acts and just everything that he does, it works so well. He's just like this wise golem who just knows everything to say and knows everything to do. And like he's also voiced by Kyle Herbert. And if you don't remember who Kyle Herbert is, he's the voice of adult Gohan and Aizen from Bleach. And funny thing is, like, I knew his voice. Usually I know Kyle Herbert's voice. I usually know his voice. But the few times I did know his voice was when he voiced Aizen. Like, I had no idea that was Kyle Herbert. I was like, that's Gohan's voice. I'm like, that's him? I was like, I had no idea that was him. And like, you kind of get that same feeling with like with his voice in here. Like, it has like a very like calm and like melancholy, like somber voice to it. And I really like the way I really like this character. Like he really came off such a wise person, even when like a bad situation happened where he always knows how to move forward. And you remember that thing where I told you about like moving forward and whatnot. He always knows how to move forward so easily, and he always knows the right thing to do. Like even when like a situation is like even when things don't go his way, he doesn't let any road bumps affect him. He just knows how to handle a situation, and he knows how to adapt to it each and every time. Like I remember, I think like I have like one of his like quotes that he like said, just because like he intrigued me. Just every single line he said just like intrigued me like every single time. And this is one line where the little girl and him are in this like city, and they've been in a lot of like towns before. They've been in a lot of our city areas before, and there was just this one like just a little small thing that he said. And he just like talked about like, oh yeah, oh my god, this is the, like the little girl says like, oh my god, this town is so much, it's way more energetic than the last cities we've visited, we've like been at and whatnot. And he goes like, let me see, where is it? He says like there is also a lot more prosperity in the city, though greater prosperity also means greater danger. Stay alert, little one. And then like just like from just like that line, just like stuff like that, where like he always knows like the right thing like to say and whatnot, and he knows like he just knows how to handle everything. I don't know how to like really describe it. All I gotta say is the best way to describe him is just like wise. He's just like the wisest character I've seen in like an anime in a long time, where like he just has like the right thing to say and just knows everything. And like Kyle Herbert just like brought this character to life complete. Like I don't even know if I could, like they probably did a great job in English sub as well, but like definitely from the atmosphere, animation, and just like now the only thing that like I wouldn't put points off of, but I know like other people might put points off of, it's just the fact that like it kind of has like the same thing with kind of similar to like the first anime I talked about with like keep your hands off of Eizouken, where like there really isn't like conflict, where it kind of like starts off like somewhat slow, but I feel like even with the slow pace in this show, I felt like it worked for this show. I felt like compared to like keep your hands off of Eizouken, I felt like this one worked. Like I wasn't like bored or like uninterested in anything. Like I like it was almost like from the first episode they was like, all in all, I'd probably say I give that one an 8 out of 10. I wouldn't say I give anything a 9 or a 10 so far from anything that I watch, only because like I feel like eventually certain episodes from like if episodes from now it could lead to a 9 or like a 10 or like something like that. So I feel like from a
you put it over ID and Vader?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. From the first episode that I watched, I would put that one over ID Invaded. Because from the moment I turned on that anime, it felt like I was transported into that world, and it just hooked me automatically. I was just like invested the moment I like watched it. I was invested in Veda as well, but it was like a completely different, because like they're completely different shows. They're like way completely different shows. But from this show, I'm so glad I left off on the highest note possible, because this is 100%. I'm so glad the last anime I watched was the best anime I watched, because it just left like the right feeling I needed before like it like all ended. So overall, I'd say like it was just amazing. Like I said, the best way to describe it is just beautiful, from the atmosphere, the animation.
So was this part of the 3 I recommended, or was this the one you found interesting?
The one I found interesting was Invaded. That was the one from like the poster and everything. This was from the 3. This was for Slice of Life. So that was the genre I got it from. It was like Slice of Life, and it was interesting because when I was doing Slice of Life, I was thinking of doing like, okay, when I was Slice of Life, I was thinking it was going to be more like
3 got to know line, like Yahariori.
Yeah, like more like a realistic type of like Slice of Life. Where this was like, it still has a realistic tone to it, but it's in a fantasy land. So it's like fantasy Slice of Life in a weird way, but it works. It works really well. Like it really just has like the right tone. It just like works so well with it. So I really did like. Would you put
it up there with those anime?
But I mean, I can't say that. I can't say that right now, only because the first episode. But I will say from the beginning, if we were just going by first episodes, I would put it up there for first episodes. I would say, because like I might say, I'm trying to remember the 3 Guys No Lion first episode, and that actually was a really good tone. But like so far, I'd say it's at least up there. I don't know if I'd say it's above it, but I'd say it's at least up there from like a first impression standpoint from like the episode. Now I'm not saying like I said like, oh yeah, it's up there for like the anime itself. Like I haven't finished it. I'm just going by the first episode, my impressions of it, from like my first impression of 3 Guys No Lion and first impressions of any other slice of life. It's like definitely had the right tone and the right progression for like what the next episodes can lead up to. So overall, I definitely say that was an amazing experience overall. Do you have any other questions before like I get to anything else?
So yeah, I do have another question. You said he was the wisest character, so would you say he was Zangetsu?
I say he's up there. I say 100% he was like one of like he just. It was a character that came out of nowhere, because I didn't know what to expect for this anime, but like, yeah, I definitely say he's up there just from, like I said, I'm just going by the first episode, but just from everything he just brought in from that first episode, from just a monologue he talked about with the forest and everything that he's like done and whatnot, and everything he says, just like everything, like he was the reason why I was never bored watching it, and why, well, the animation also helped, like with the animation on top of that, what were you about to say?
And then he says, do you know why I hate it when it snows?
Nah. Nah. When it snows, I hate the snow. Nah. See, then I would have
snows in this world too.
I would have dropped it at that point. But nah. On top of that, he's probably the main reason why like I kept watching the show, why I was never bored watching the show. So all in all, definitely like best like anime. Oh yeah, you also have one more. I'm thinking of those were all the animes, but I forgot you do have one more anime. So yeah, you're gonna leave it off with a high note, right?
Yeah, definitely. So this next anime right here was actually another bad anime I watched. In fact, this is the one I found that wasn't interesting.
Oh, also was not interesting.
It was that dog anime I showed you.
Oh. I forgot
called
about that.
Oda Cinnamon Nobunaga? What? So apparently, this was an anime that happened in the 1560s. That's how far back it goes.
Oh no.
And Inuyasha's clothing?
Yeah.
Yeah, they go by that dress style
Oh no.
for like all these samurais and whatnot. In the first
mean,
episode, they were describing this war, like a bunch of fights in this war.
mm-hmm.
And then the next scene, he was a dog.
What?
He was automatically a dog. They transformed into a dog because he said, "I want to be reborn as something else." And all of a sudden, they did like a time skip to like a year later or a day later, and he became a dog. Like him and his friends all became dogs, and they're owned by like a female, and they're pretty much just living their life like a dog, barking, peeing, and the dog's mine. Yeah.
What? Oh,
Great.
No. Oh, so that was the gist of it? Just reincarnated as a dog?
Yeah, living life like a dog.
How was the animation?
Animation was great.
How it looked good. Oh, so at least the dogs look good. Yeah. Oh no. Okay. So what was the rest of it? What was like the story when they were dogs or whatnot?
That was honestly the whole story. They were as dogs, and they weren't really focused on figuring out how they got turned into dogs. It was just bland.
That was it. It wasn't like was it just like there's a mailman, like sorry, like running. It was just like a bunch like so basically it was just like them like getting reincarnated as a dog, and that's where it ended, or like other stuff go on after the time skip.
I mean, there really ain't much going on. They're just describing themselves, and that's it. No main antagonists. No nothing.
Okay, I know
Cinnamon,
like
come here, Cinnamon.
That's actually what happened. Cinnamon, come here, Cinnamon. That's really it. Like I know, I know, like you don't need conflicts, like really, like make a story, like really, like I mean you do, but I mean you don't need conflict right off the bat. That's what I mean. Kind of like with that show that I just described recently. Like that didn't have a conflict, but you can see how it could progress later to conflict and whatnot. But for that's all it had. Like it didn't have like any like story, because like at least like the story that at least the show that I talked about had a story. This one on your hand, it has a story, but like from what you said, just sort of happens. Is that really what happened?
Yeah,
that's really it.
A 1?
A what?
A 1 to 10? A 1?
Damn. Okay, well I guess that. Well, I was hoping you at least get like 2 anime that were good, but so far from all the anime you said, I was like, no, we talking Interspecies, man. That was the best anime you saw, right?
That food.
I was hoping you at least get like 2 animes, but say you really just got 1. But oh no, okay. So now that we like discussed the anime and whatnot, I got a few like little like just like small questions and whatnot. And basically I have a few questions, just I already have a feeling what most of the answers are gonna be, but basically it's just like a little questions for like some of the just some little categories, just to see like what would you probably say was like best this, best that, and then we'll just like overall like what would you like. I got a little small thing I was thinking about doing, but we'll see how this goes. I just do the categories first. All right, first of all, we'll start off first. All right, favorite main character out of the 5 anime you watched?
The one from ID Invader.
The one from ID Invader? Oh, okay. See, he probably would have won for me too, but after watching Solomon the Forest, yeah, I definitely got to give it. I definitely got to give it the father now. He definitely, after just that wise wisdom and just some everything he like, just from every single word that he said, I gotta give it to him. Just from his wise words and just everything he said, and just from his presence and everything he did. Where I feel like the dude from ID, like I feel like once I know more about him, then like I feel like he could end up being above him, but so far I gotta give it the father. So that's why I gotta give it to him. Next one, worst main character out of the 5.
Ooh, worst main character. I'm gonna have to give it to Dorohedoro. That Barney was just so then Caillou with the wig.
What are you talking about?
I'm gonna have to give it.
I mean, at least Barney was somewhat friendly. Barney is the dinosaur that bites your fucking head off. All right. Okay. Let me see. Oh wait, I was thinking about him, but then I remember that generic ass bland anime, and I gotta choose that. I gotta choose the main character from that video game era, Infinite Drogon or whatever the hell it is. That was he was so bland. I would see because I'll at least give that dinosaur dude some credit. At least he had a character. That oh my god, he was so. That dude in there.
You mean at least he had a costume?
It's like at least I was about to say at least he had a character. At least he had a personality, even if it was like Barney-ish. At least he was. At least I'll take that over that bland character where like I have to do this for my friend. No, he was the worst character. All right. Best soundtrack out of the 5.
Honestly, these anime didn't exactly have any soundtracks to stand out to me. So I'll say none of them won in that regard. I mean, I'll say the ending for ID Invader was good, I guess. But if we're going by mid soundtracks playing through the shows, none of these stood out.
Well, I'd probably say like if you don't have like a specific like mid soundtrack, I'd probably say like a track. Like if you do have one specific like track that did get to you, then I'd probably say like like I say like all the tracks, considering like the openings, the endings, and the mid soundtracks, like all together, like which one, even if it's just one, like would you say stand out the most out of all the other 4?
It might have been the Sorcerous Stable Orphen ending. That's what I think it was.
Okay.
That might have been what it was. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. For me,
Or was the ID Invader ending?
I mean, I like the ID Invader ending, but I'm trying to think what I say that was my favorite one though, because, like I said, even though I like the ID Invader, the soundtrack, everything else, all the other soundtracks were just kind of But I'd probably say
where was the jazz?
Exactly. So now I'm thinking. I feel like I'm trying to think. Was there any like distinctive, like really good soundtrack? And I think before I say my like actual answer, I feel like Solomon the Forest will probably be my favorite because at least the sound it worked for the fantasy world. Like with like Invader, it was just like not really memorable. Where like there was like one soundtrack, it was like this one piano soundtrack, and like it plays a few times in like the show, and like I never get sick of it. When I hear it, just like it just feels like you're in this like mystical world where you're just getting transported. And I'm just like, yeah. If I'm going, I have to, I definitely have to say, Solemn in the Forest would definitely be my, and the Forest Spirit was definitely my favorite soundtrack. Now, worst soundtrack out of the 5. I don't think about it. I'm trying to think of the one that's the most forgettable or the one that like really irritated me. You know what?
Consider how most of mine were bad. I don't know.
You know, I actually, like while you're thinking about that, you know what? I actually do have one. Only because, not for the soundtrack in general, but the opening. Because you remember I told you that the animation for the first anime I talked about, Keep Your Eyes Off of Eizouken. You remember how I like saw how bad the poster was? How like I said like the poster looked somewhat bad. And I said like, this looks bad. But like the anime itself actually looked good. That being said, the opening for that show has the same animation as that poster, and it had like this weird like like what the and then I was just like, oh no, that actually made me like, oh no, I gotta drop this anime. It had potential, but then I saw that opening, and then like everything started. I got scared after that. I was just like, oh no, it actually is this anime. I felt like I was like, am I watching the right anime? Then when I got to open it, oh no, this is that anime. So, oh no, yeah, I'll probably say keep your hands off of Eizouken. Probably have the worst soundtrack just for that opening. All right, but can you not think of one, or just say as a whole, you're just like, they were all like,
I'll say as a whole, they were all
Okay. All right, I got one for you now. All right, best animation out of the 5.
Ooh, definitely ID Invader.
ID Invader? Okay. See, for animation wise, I probably say Solomon the Forest Spirit. I probably say that one because like I said, that animation. It's like, no, Fetcher! Yeah, man, that 3D man, that Caillou girl, man. No. But nah, Solomon the Forest Spirit definitely, like I said, beautiful. That's the best way to say it. Just like a beautiful looking anime. Now, worst animation out of the 5.
Oh, Dorohedoro.
What are you talking about? You like
That
Caillou?
animation was
You're like wig Caillou? That wig man make me want to do that croc man. Now, see, the thing is, it's hard because I'm trying to think of would I rather take bad and unique or bland because right now I'm tied between Dorohedoro and Infinite Dendrogram because Infinite Dendrogram the animation was so bland. It was so bland to the point where like now I'm thinking about would I put that? I feel like it might even be a disservice to even put that above Dorohedoro because at least they tried to do something different with Dorohedoro. With Infinite Dendrogram, I'm just like, man, this is so damn generic. You know what? I'm putting Infinite Dendrogram. That was the worst animation. Definitely Infinite Dendrogram. Yeah, I'm going with that one. All right, best atmosphere out of the 5. Now remember, atmosphere is different than animation. Atmosphere is how the anime feels. Animation is how the anime looks. So what would you say was the best atmosphere?
I'm gonna have to go with I still give it an ID Invader.
Yeah, I had a feeling though. All in all, funny thing is
that was the best overall.
Yeah. Funny thing is like even though ID Invader, even though I said best animation was Solomon the Forest Spirit, I will say for atmosphere, even though I love the atmosphere for that show, I will say ID Invader was the best one for atmosphere wise. I will say atmosphere wise, I will give that one the ID Invader. So I will give that one. I will give that one that one for atmosphere. All right, worst atmosphere out of the 5.
Oof. I'm gonna have to go with that Cinnamon Nobunaga, that dog anime. I was like, huh? I can't feel.
Yeah.
Being a dog. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I had to give it to an Infinite Dendrogram. I just I just couldn't. Like I couldn't even if I tried to get immersed in that anime. I'm just like, no, this just ain't cutting it. I don't care about this character. I don't care about this world. I don't care about anything that's going on here. So yeah.
You talking about? I have the power of Exodia.
The power of the unstoppable Exodia. But no.
Yeah.
Oh no. All right. Okay. Now we get to this. All right. Now this one might be hard. I really think about this one. This is probably the hardest question out of all of them. The best anime overall out of the 5.
Oh dang. Dorohedoro was pretty good.
I know, man. Nah.
That dog anime.
I really think about that dog. Nah. You forgot about Interspecies, man. That food.
Oh yeah, that food. I don't know, man. I mean, she was a boy on the outside, but at least she had boobs. So I mean, this might be a harder choice after all.
Yeah, we're talking about worst anime. Right? Obviously, Invader, right?
ID Invader.
Yeah, ID Invader. Yeah. All right. See, and me down for it. ID Invader would have won. I thought it was going to win until I saw Solomon of the Forest Spirit. I say I'm not. Like I said, I only saw first episode of both of them. So ID Invader could end up being the better anime overall. But from the first episode, Solomon of the Forest Spirit, definitely it immersed me into the world a lot more than ID Invader did. Not saying ID Invader didn't. I'm just saying like Solomon the Forest Spirit had a more intriguing first episode in my opinion. So that's the reason why I probably say that would probably be my best overall out of the 5. So with that one said, see, I was thinking about. Now I feel like I want to change it because I feel like since the fact that like you had so many anime that like displeased you, I was hoping you at least had 2 that would at least be intriguing to you. Let alone, I was thinking like, oh yeah, maybe like 2 to 3 of them might at least like still be intriguing, even though you don't know how it's gonna go.
I mean, I did say I might watch that the Sable Orphen just to see the second episode, see how it goes. And
Okay. That'll at least be fair here. I'll drop. Nah. You know what? I'm dropping 2 as well. All right. You know what? We're dropping 2 this time now. We're equaling it up because at first I was thinking about like, do I want? Cause I know for a fact. Oh man, I'm just gonna tell you overall. Like the first one I was dropping, Infinite Dendrogram, 100%. I am dropping. I am never watched that anime ever again. I'm 100% dropping that. And then I was thinking about just dropping 1, but now it's just like, you know what? I'm probably not gonna go to Dorohedoro again ever again as well. So you know what? I'm dropping that one as well.
What?
So yeah.
So you mean if I pick 2? I'm stuck with that ecchi anime.
Yeah, you're stuck with
No.
her too. You gotta pick two you're dropping, and you gotta be stuck with the others. It's up to whatever you want. Which two are you dropping?
I guess I'm gonna have to pick that dog anime. Especially if I want to drop Dorohedoro. I got that Fuda anime. I guess I'll get rid of that Fuda anime.
You're really thinking about this. Would you take the food or would you take Barney?
I can't have them shoving that in my face every episode. Ever see that bulge? Get introduced to what I got introduced to. Pull up your shirt. What is that?
So altogether we dropped two. I chose Infinite Drogum, and Dorohedoro, and you chose that dog anime. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, that food.
Oh, the ecchi anime.
Yeah, the ecchi anime. Oh, okay. So all together we have three. And I was gonna say recommendations, but I mean, you already saw ID Invader, and I kind of don't want to recommend you Psalm of the Forest because I want the next two you watch. I want the next two you watch to be different this time. So you know what? I'm gonna do it like this. All right. Now since we have three, we have to go back and find two more. And you know what? I'll say it like this. All right. For the next two, we'll do it like this. First you pick one that you think is interesting, and then I pick out the next anime for you. That's how we're gonna do it for the next one. That's why I say go on like the next anime website or whatnot. So we can either do something good for us or do something bad for us. It's really up to us, really. So let me see 2020. But first, let me see 2020.
You haven't seen Free? Yeah.
So we already picked out the anime we recommend each other. So basically, I have four right now. I have Solemn and the Forest Spirit. I have ID Invaded. I have Keep Your Hands Off of Eizouken, and I have the new one that Taewon just recommended me, Kabuka Chico Sherlock. Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. Yeah. And what are the four anime you have currently now?
Wait a minute.
What?
The one you recommended, we got the same name.
Wait, what?
You know, notice it?
What? No, it's a little different. Don't worry. Yours have a U at the end. Mine's have an O. That's it. That's the only difference.
Oh, wait.
It's fine.
No, it's different.
Yeah, it's different. I thought it was the same anime.
Not for real, because it got the same word.
No. I knew it wasn't the same anime, but it does look the same. And I was like, I almost thought, like, is it from the same people? I feel like it might be from the same maker.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Just say your four anime already, so we can wrap it up now. That's it now.
Okay, Dorohedoro,
Mm-hmm.
Sorcerous, Saber, Orphen, ID Invader,
Yep.
and Case File in 221 Capuchico.
Okay. All right. So we got four, and then we find the fifth one pretty much off screen, where we just like look for like just any like show that we haven't looked at from 2019 to 2020, just any of those type of anime. So anyway, guys, that's the end of the podcast. Thank you guys for watching. This is Michael.
And this is Tavon.
And we will see you next time.